Alright everybody, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to do a video on dark entities and specifically in relation to having them unattached from the physical body during a Kundalini awakening. And this is a topic that may cause like a lot of fear in people. People might think it's, ridiculous or not a real thing. But it's been a very real experience for me during my Kundalini awakening. And when you go through an awakening like this, you are going to have extremely expanded states of awareness. You're going to see into other levels of reality that constantly surround us, but our perception can't always perceive them. And you're going to come into contact with high dimensional entities. The vast majority, in my experience, are going to be entities and guides that are helping you, but I've also had experiences of coming into contact with dark entities that are feeding off human emotions, feeding off fears, specifically low vibrational energy vampires. And you can frame this in whatever way makes you feel comfortable or you like. So you can some of these experiences that I talk about, you could frame that as, oh well, that's a psychological aspect of this person's psyche manifesting in this way. It's a visual representation of those fears and things like that. I personally, I'm open to various possibilities, and I think it's just beneficial to people, for people to perceive these experiences in whatever way is most beneficial for them. But I personally think these entities, whether it be dark entities or high dimensional entities, spirit guides, angelic beings, things like that, I think they've got as an independent existence from me as any human being has, for example, that I meet on this physical reality. On one level, yeah, we're all one. We're all reflections of the oneness. We're all reflections of each other in that certain way. And you do attract certain energies into your experience due to your own inner state of being. But so they are an aspect of yourself in that way, but in my opinion, they're independent just as much as a friend I might meet and go out for a walk with is independent from me. They've got an independent perceptive experience of reality. So yeah, how this has occurred in my Kundalini awakening is it's been a case of having visionary experience of seeing these entities being detached from me. It's come in dreams on a couple of occasions, but then also on about 3 occasions that I can recall where I've had like a third eye vision of the entity being unattached from my physical body. And that has come during when I've been going through Kundalini Kriyas, which I've got a video specifically going into Kundalini Kriyas, but that's spontaneous movements where your body is releasing trauma, tension, and the Kundalini energy is cleaning out your system. So I'll give a few examples of what this is like, and I want to put this out there because I don't think you should be fearful of this. The Kundalini energy is essentially cleaning out the body, so these dark entities can no longer feed on you, because I think humans are running around in a world where limited to our 5 sense perception of reality, and there's all sorts outside that thin little bandwidth that we can't perceive. And these dark entities that are plugging into our energy systems and siphoning off our energy and feeding on low vibrational emotions, as I said, they're part of this. It reminds me of, there's a scene in the film 12 Monkeys, the one with Bruce Willis and Brad Pitt in, and Brad Pitt's talking to in the mental hospital, and he's talking about I'm not sure if this is a true story or whether it's just made up for the film, but it gets the point across really beautifully, in my opinion. He's talking about the person who discovered germs, and he's saying, oh yeah, the person who discovered germs, everyone thought it was crazy because he was going around saying, oh, there's these tiny little invisible things and they make you feel ill, and like people can breathe them on you, and yeah, if they get into your system, they make you feel ill, and nobody could see these. This person was thought insane, but then the microscope was invented, and all of a sudden, this idea that this guy had, this understanding, this inner standing that this person had became a perceptible reality to the collective through the invention of the microscope. And when you open your third eye, you're going to be able to perceive these entities that are operating in realms outside normal visible sight. And maybe it'll take some kind of invention for the collective to perceive those entities, or maybe as this spiritual evolution occurs on this planet, people are going to start waking up and actually seeing these entities for themselves. So yeah, I'll get into just a few of the experiences I've been through, and I'm going to give just 3 examples. I'll give a dream one, and then, as I said, 2 that have occurred when I've been in the waking state. So this dream one was incredibly powerful, and I think it was showing me where this energy or dark entity had become attached and had been feeding off me, and for how long. So I was in a kind of warehouse club, and there were lots of people on drugs and drunk, and so it was echoing a time in my life when I used to go out when I was younger, in my late teens and early 20s, and do lots of chemical drugs and drink a lot and things like that. And I was kind of walking around seeing all these people drunk in the dream. I was sober in this dream, and I could see how their energies were all very messed up and murky and dark, and these kind of cloudy fields around them of energy. And anyway, this one person who I know in actual reality came up to me in the dream and was kind of like shouting at me in the dream with this really horrible energy, and I could feel it, and I could feel them like starting to siphon energy out of me. And then all of a sudden I felt all this pain in my stomach, and this crazy like black, dark, shadowy, like it was made of smoke and shadow, just like pulled out of my stomach. And that person kind of just moved out of the side of the dream, and then that was just feeding off my energy, and I could feel it sucking all this energy out of my face and out of my being, and it was really scary. But I was lucid in the dream, and I knew that I was dreaming, and so I called out for help from my power animal spirit guide, and this is quite funny, but the spirit guide appeared in the dream and gave me this little bag as this process was going on, and I said, like, what's that? And the guide said, it's a jag bag. Now I have no idea what that means. I looked up the term jag bag on the internet and I didn't find anything, but anyway, that was what it said. And as soon as it gave me this and told me that, I knew what to do with this jag bag, and I threw it on the floor, and it was a little bit like out of Ghostbusters, funnily enough, the film Ghostbusters, where they throw out those things and it like sucks ghosts into that little box that opens up, if anyone's seen the film Ghostbusters. And anyway, I threw this bag on the ground in the dream, and it pulled this entity down, pulled it out of my stomach, and I could feel it like ripping out of my stomach, and all this kind of smoky layers just coming out of my stomach, and it got sucked into this bag. And immediately I also knew that I had to burn this bag with this entity trapped in it. And in the dream, in the corner of this warehouse, I saw a furnace, and so I knew I had to walk over to that, and I threw the bag in the furnace and witnessed it burn. And then I woke up, and as I woke up, when I woke up, I realised I was like curled up in the fetal position in my bed, and I could feel all this energy and this pain and darkness just get ripped and heaved out of my stomach, and there was like a physical release with it, and kind of like a really deep groaning as all this energy just like pulled out of my stomach, and it felt a huge release after that. So that was a powerful one in a dream. I've had I've had several other things like that going on in a dream. So yeah, the 2 that I've had in the waking state have been images that have come into my third eye, and I've witnessed the process taking place. As I said a little bit ago, it's been during kriyas and movements. So the 2 that I can recall are one when some energy was released from very high up in my spine, like almost where my spine meets into the brainstem, and I could see this little gremlin-like creature just like get, as this energy got released in my spine, I could see it just like kind of have to, it was like just pulled off, and it was this really weird little gremlin-y thing, and it was kind of like laughing in a weird little way. But I saw it kind of come into my vision, and then it just like flew off, and I'd felt it get released out of there. So that was one experience, and the other experience was during Kriyas, and I was put into like the child pose in yoga, so on the floor, kind of. I'll if anyone doesn't know the child pose, I'll put a little picture of the child pose up so you know what I'm talking about. And in the Kriya process, I was held in that child pose by the energy for quite a long time, and I started to feel these like things being like pulled out of my spine and back, and I could see in my mind's eye this again. It was like a black, smoky, dark entity with like fiery eyes, and I could just see it like it had been hooked into my back, and these hooks were getting like pulled out, and again, to sort of use a popular pop culture reference, it was very similar to in the Matrix film where Neo wakes up in the pod and those black tubular things are kind of pulled off. It reminded me of that, this kind of sensation and vision. And yeah, again, after that had been cleared, I felt this huge relief, and this huge weight had kind of been lifted out of my energy field and off my spine. So yeah, that's a little summary of some of the experiences I've had with dark entities on the Kundalini path. And specifically with them being removed from the energy field. So yeah, I wanted to share these because I don't think you should be afraid of them. I think the Kundalini energy is cleaning and clearing you out, and this is part of the process. You're going to see these entities, and the good news is that they're getting cleared. They can't feed on you. When you are raising your vibration, and when you are filling your body with light, and the Kundalini energy is essentially that clearing you out, you're raising your vibration. They can no longer be attached on that. It's incompatible. It's vibrationally incompatible for those entities to feed on that, and they have to leave. They can no longer feed on you. And to put this in a broader perspective, like in my opinion, that is going on a massive scale on this planet, and the way out of that for us is to raise our vibration, raise our frequency, connect into the heart, and they can no longer feed on us when we do that. And that's a powerful tool for us. So yeah, that's my experience. Don't be afraid of it. Don't get too paranoid about these entities. They don't really have that much power over you. When you become consciously aware, when you raise your energy, they can no longer feed on you. And that's our power. We've got the power to heal ourselves and to clear all this shadow and all these entities, attachments, things like that. So yeah, okay, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.